you're fine. Who cares?
Who cares?
Nobody listens anyway, right?
Nobody listens.
Hey, everybody that's not listening, we're back. We did a little testy poo here, and for whatever reason, we were not synced very well, but I guess we're okay now, I hope.
Yeah. Hold on. I got to share this thing to a few places.
Party on, Steve.
Party on, Ray.
Now, if you listen to that back, hopefully we say it right on top of each other there.
We should. Share to a page. No, I don't want to share it to my church's page. There we go.
Oh, yes, you do.
Yeah, yes, you do. Share in a group. Live.
We share with everybody. Sharing is
Event
caring.
Marketers.
Except when it comes to the coronavirus.
Yeah. I got to get a haircut next week.
Get a haircut and get a real job.
It's Great Clips has been open for 2 weeks now, so I'm good to go in.
I did notice when I was out earlier that one of them, I don't know, Great Clips or Supercuts or one of those places was indeed open. When I needed to get a haircut, they were all closed. Even though they were supposed to be open, they were all closed.
Oh. Well, you look like you got a haircut.
I did. I got it at a little barber shop on the other side of town. That was quite a ride to get there, and yeah, it was all right.
Yeah. I go to Great Clips. There's a gal there named Diane who cuts my hair the way I want. So I always call and make sure she's there.
So
hopefully she's there.
Want it that way?
Not like this. It's a little on the long side. Look.
It is. It's quite long. That's what she said.
So that's what she said. And she was lying. Make me feel better.
She's a liar.
So what's the show today?
Well, the show today is about using animation in your videos.
Ooh, cool.
Ooh. Yeah. I thought it appropriate since we've been talking about animation all week. And, it's a fun topic.
Will Chuck Long be here? No, what was his name? Chuck Long was a quarterback at Iowa and Detroit. What was his name?
Long.
Jones. Chuck Jones was an animator
Jones,
for Warner Brothers, yeah.
No, he will not be here. In fact, I'm pretty sure he's dead.
He is dead.
Okay.
Yeah. So he won't be here.
Mel Blanc will not be here either. So.
Mel Blanc won't be here either.
Yes. Boy, my volume does seem very low. Oh, you know what? It is low, I think. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, yeah. No. For some reason, it defaulted back down. That should be a little better. All right. I was wondering why. I'm looking at my meters and going, wow, that's pretty low.
How am I on the meter?
Oh, you were fine. You were higher than me. That was the problem.
I'm high, man.
He's so high.
It's because I get better pot than you.
Yeah, I suppose that could be true. All right, well, we're here to talk about animation, not Steve's many, many, many addictions. So we're going to pop in here and talk a little bit about animation. For those of you wondering, yes, I am indeed wearing a superhero muscle suit.
Don't stand up, though.
Yeah, I can't stand up. Unfortunately, the blue tights that I bought for my superhero muscle uniform are more like women's nylons, and so you can just see right through them completely. I'm still wearing them, but you can see right through them.
So you're going to have to get a license for the hot dog stand.
That's pretty funny. I like that.
Yeah,
that was good, Steve. That was good. He's funny. And all of this not in the actual podcast, which is kind of funny. All the funny stuff is before the podcast begins.
That's why you should always watch the pre-show. Because we're
always watch the pre-show. That's where the good stuff is. And by the way, a lot of people are watching the pre-show. I keep getting a lot of people contacting me saying, "Oh yeah, well they watch every week," and that's awesome. So
cool,
good to hear. So, but today we're going to talk about using animation in your videos, and be a lot of fun. So, are you ready, Steve?
I am, Ray. I am.
It's already 2:23. We're 23 minutes. We haven't started yet, so we better get moving. All right, here we go. In 5 and 4, 3, 2. On today's episode of Video Marketing Madness, we're going to talk about using animation in your videos, why you should, why it can be helpful, and why you can do it. You can do it. And today's episode, not surprisingly, is made possible by a software that creates animations for you. It's called Create Studio, and it allows you to do all sorts of really, really cool animations. I'm talking about animated logos. You can bring your logo in there and have it fly in on the screen and then fly out and do all sorts of cool things. You can do animated text. You can have templates that are built in so that you can do all sorts of really cool animations, and you can even do 3D and 2D characters and actually make them do what you want. Now, I'm not a big character animation type person in my videos, but this is actually kind of fun to do and very easy with this program. You literally choose a character and you choose what you want them to do from a list, and they'll walk onto the screen and wave to you and lift weights and do whatever it is that you need. And it's a very, very cool program. Great for doing VSLs, great for doing those explainer videos, either with or without characters, with the animated texts and the backgrounds. You can create lower thirds that fly in onto the screen over video. And if you're an instant spokesperson user, you can actually do your entire instant spokesperson customizations inside this program. And a dirty little secret, I found it easier to do it with Create Studio than any other program. And you could add animation to it nice and easy as well. So you could do it better and quicker using that than with some of the other programs. So I was kind of surprised by that, but great program. You can check it out right now by going to raythevideoguy.com/create studio. Create Studio. Very easy.
Very good.
And by the way, the great thing about this, the learning curve is super low. So it's not like After Effects, Adobe After Effects, where you need to train for 4 years just to do something. You can get in there and you can use it right away. There's training videos and whatnot. Check it out, raythevideoguy.com/create studio. And with that, I think we'll hit that funky music and get started.
He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy.
And it's the Ray Dio Show about video marketing madness with Ray the Video Guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper. GoVMM.com, the homepage. Ray's got the podcast on his website. So do I.
Yes, indeed. And by the way, aside from all those great places where you can see us on Facebook and YouTube and every other place you can think of, podcaster catching softwares and everything else, we've got something we're going to be bringing back, Steve, or at least I'm going to try to. And we talked about this last week a little bit in passing, and it got my brain going again. So we're going to bring back the old Ask the Video Guy, where people can actually record videos and audio and ask questions that we can answer on the podcast.
That was great.
I was inspired by some talk we had about that kind of stuff. And I went back and pulled up the old software that we used to use, and I haven't used it in ages. And when I put it onto our page. In fact, if you go to our page, one of my pages right now, raythevideoguy.com/podcast, on there is the button that you can record your audio or video. But right now, when you do it and then you hit send, it actually pulls up an error. It's not working, and I'm trying to get them to figure out what's going on with that. So hopefully by the end of the day today, we'll have that up and running. If not, hopefully, in the next couple of days. But you can definitely head on over there, raythevideoguy.com/podcast, and try it out. We'll probably put it onto GoVMM and all that as well so that you can get it in those places. But we will set that up. So you want to do that? Go ahead and give it a try. Like I said, you may try and do a practice one, and it may give you an error right now. Hopefully they'll fix that soon. It may be operator error. I might be, something might have changed that I don't know how to fix in the back end. It's been a long time.
Did you have to update the software since you haven't used it in a while?
It's a web-based software, so you just log in and use it. So they may have a better version. Who knows? We'll find out soon, hopefully. But they did respond to me and say they were looking into it, so hopefully very soon we'll have that. So be sure to check that out. It'll be a lot of fun for you. And in the meantime, you can do some animation for your videos. So I want to talk a little bit about that today because, there's degrees of difficulty when it comes to creating video and audio and content. Obviously, writing an article, very easy to do. Recording your voice, that goes up the scale a little bit, but not too hard. You should be able to do that in any software. creating a video. Not very difficult these days, especially when you can just shoot one on your phone. But if you want to edit that video, it adds a little bit of complexity. You just got to get a video editing program and work on that. And then we've got animation. Now, animation is kind of the top of the heap in this because, and by the way, when I say animation, I know everybody thinks Bugs Bunny or Mickey Mouse or whatever, but I'm talking about any type of animated element, animated text that comes onto your screen, animated characters, maybe just moving backgrounds, maybe your logo just flies across the screen or an animated lower third comes up with your name. All those types of things fall into that category of animation. Or as I like to call a lot of it, motion graphics. Motion graphics is another term that I like to use a lot. Those are kind of the top tier things. And even going back, when I used to work in television back years ago, I worked for Channel 12 in Providence and Channel 64 in Providence, same company. I worked for both. And I would do news graphics, which would be like the over the shoulders of, whatever politician got arrested that day and the lower thirds that said the anchor's name on it and whatnot. We created a lot of those things, but believe it or not, we didn't have a lot of animation when I got there. We had a Chiron operator. Chiron, for those of you who don't know what that is, that's a person who actually sits in the studio during like a live news broadcast, and they're the one, they press a button and the lower third comes up or what have you. Now, those Chiron machines actually had some animation in them, so you could fly some of those things up. But when it came to doing real animation for, let's say, a segment they were going to do, we used to have one called In the Garden, for instance, and, it'd pop up and say, In the Garden, and this lady would teach gardening things. Whenever there was a slow news day, they would throw these kinds of segments in there. Well, we had to create the opens for those things, and that's not going to be done inside your Chiron machine. So you actually had to do that on computers. And back in those days, we had a couple of Windows machines and a couple of Macs, and we had After Effects on one of the Macs, and nobody was using it at the time. So me and another guy who had just started there doing graphics, like, well, we got After Effects here. Why aren't we using this? And that's when we started to go in and start to use that to create these animated sequences. So the In the Garden would have the text right onto the screen and, the things would fly in and get started. Well, that's a fairly difficult task. And over the years, it didn't get a whole lot easier. It was kind of After Effects was still, and still is, kind of the king of creating those types of graphics. Doing things for movies, doing things for TV shows, doing things for commercials, even web production. After Effects is usually what's used to create animated logos and whatever else it is. Well, if you've ever used Adobe After Effects, it is not a program that most people can just jump into, pick up, and start working with. It's got a lot of buttons. It's got a lot of different things you can do. It does millions of things, and they're all hidden in menus and whatnot. It's very difficult to really start to learn how to use this and build animations. Well, fortunately, there are some other ways that people do this. PowerPoint, Keynote. People will use those programs to make very simple animations and turn them into videos. Are they the best looking? Not usually. They're kind of, they don't have some of the subtleties. So if you use PowerPoint and you have, text fly onto the screen and you put that in video form, it tends to look a little choppy because it doesn't have things like, motion blurs and all of that stuff built into it. So because it's not an animation tool. But you can get away with doing that. In fact, there are some guys out there that have created all these templates for making videos super easy that are all done with After Effects, and it blows my mind that they're able to do this kind of stuff, and it looks great, but it's to get that far, again, you're talking about a pretty steep learning curve to set those things up. And that's what we want to try and avoid whenever possible, is spending too much time in these learning curves. So After Effects, even PowerPoint, you're going to have learning curves in there, After Effects especially. So it's going to slow people down, or they're just not going to do it at all. They're not going to do any animations on there. Now, the other things that we have is there's a lot of programs out there that help people to create certain types of animation. Now, these are your programs that are usually called, video builders and things like that. And what they do is they use templates, and you can create your animations with the templates and whatnot. And hey, this is Bob, and there's a cartoon character waving at you. But you don't really have any control over those. You're not going to create what you want. You're going to create what they have as a template, and you're going to put it together. That's great if you need that particular template. If it's a plumbing-related template and your client is a plumber, well, then that would be perfectly fine to use. But if you need something for a flower shop and you don't have one for that, well, then you're kind of out of luck, because you're not going to be able to create your own stuff many times with those. You kind of have to follow what they have. Now, some of them are a little more complex and will allow you to bring in your own images and bring in your own characters and whatnot, and then you can make that what was a plumber template into a flower shop template. But again, your learning curve is going to go up a little bit. Fortunately, we talked about at the top of the show a brand new program that I've been playing with for the last week, Steve, called Create Studio. And this one I've found to be a lot of fun because it gives you a lot of the power that you would have in something like Adobe After Effects, but you don't need 3 years to learn how to use it. You can jump in and use it very quickly. For instance, if you wanted to create animated text, you would choose, you could either choose a template or you could start from scratch. You could put your own background in there, and then you just write the text that you want. You can add shadows and whatnot, and then choose your animation that you want. So you want it to fly in from the left? Well, it's going to fly in from the left. You want it to fly in from the top? It'll fly in from the top, from the bottom, whatever. It'll bounce in, and you can do all sorts of really cool things, and it makes life a whole lot easier because you have full control. And that to me is kind of the best of both worlds with that, because it can be template based because it's got templates, but you have 100% control of everything, and you can start completely from scratch. So it's a very easy program to use. And like I said, if you want to check that out, you can go to raythevideoguide.com/create studio, and inside there you're going to see a lot of the videos on how to do different things. You can use characters. It's got these 3D characters that are built into it, so you can have the characters walk in and do different things. So you can build an entire animation video, like a character-based animation video, very quickly and easily, even if you don't know how to do that normally. If that's not something you normally do, well, you can do that with this. So it keeps it exciting. It's a great program for that. But the point is, you get to add animation into that. Now, when should you be using animation? How should you be using animation? Is it worth it most of the time? And I'll tell you right now, a lot of times it may not be worth it. If you're just doing a little video blog where you're just going to say, hey guys, I'm walking down the street and I want to tell you about XYZ, you probably don't need much in the way of animation. However, anytime you shoot any kind of video like this, you can certainly add animation to make things work easier and better, to look more professional. So, we've got on here, if you're watching this live on Facebook, we've got the lower thirds at the bottom here that go across. And those can be animated, so you could have a nice animated lower third that comes up with your name on it. You could have your logo fly into the screen and sit in the corner. All of these types of things are very subtle animations that can really help to enhance your videos, to make them look better, to make them look more professional. And, they're not very difficult to do depending upon what software you're using. If you're using a video editor like Adobe Premiere, if you're using Final Cut Pro, they'll have some of those basic animation things built into it. In fact, both of them have a lot of plugins and things that will really expand that and allow you to do a lot of really cool stuff inside those programs with animation. If you're using a program like Camtasia has added all sorts of animated texts to their program now. So you can go in and you can pull an animated text little template section, and it'll do whatever it does onto the screen and whatnot. And yeah, I believe in ScreenFlow they've added a lot of that animation stuff as well. So you can start to bring in, different texts and have it animate on and all sorts of fun stuff. And I know they do because I use ScreenFlow every day of my life, but I don't do a lot of animation on it. But I do believe it has a lot of really cool, easy to use stuff in there as well. So there's a lot of programs that do that. If you're using something like iMovie, they have all sorts of animated templates and things that you can bring into the program to add into it and, really get some cool animation going on in there, opens and closes. And where do we want to put these animations? Well, it depends on the video. If you're putting something together that's fairly produced, you may want to have your animated lower thirds. You may want to have an animated logo that's on the screen. You may want to animate on people's phone numbers and websites so that people can go and visit them when they watch the videos. You may want to have an open to the video or a close, or maybe an end screen for YouTube. All of these things are opportunities to add animations to your video. So if you're going to have an open, you can have your logo fly in and, say whatever you wanted to say in the front of there with the title, and then go into your video that way. And that's a great way to use an animated, sequence or an animated logo. And that can actually not only enhance your video, make it look more professional, but it can actually protect your video. And what I mean by that is, on a place like YouTube, it's very easy for people to go in, grab a video, download it, and use it for their purposes. But if your logo and your website are, all over that video, they're not going to bother taking it. Or if they do, they're just going to be advertising for you, so who cares? But many times we've had people that have stolen videos. They'll download a video. Maybe we've got a video for a Movo microphone. Well, they'll download that. They'll become an affiliate for Movo microphones, throw my video back up and put their link on it and hope that people will click on it. But if your logo is in that video, one, you're still branding yourself. Two, it's easy for you to say, hey, this guy's stealing my stuff. And three, people will actually contact you and let you know. I've had people contact me and say, hey, did you know that such and such person is using your video? I know because it had your logo and everything else in there. And we were able to shut them down because we had that stuff all in there. Animated logos, logos on the screen, lower thirds with names on them, things like that. So they can protect your videos as well as make them look more professional. Other uses of building some of these things is video sales letters. Video sales letters, for the most part, are animated videos. Most of those video sales letters are just text on a screen. Oftentimes, black text on a white screen or white text on a black screen, but they still have animation oftentimes. Maybe the text flies into the screen. Maybe it, shrinks into the screen or zooms into the screen or whatever it is. Any of those types of animations can be added to bring more to your video sales letter than just, do you want to lose weight? Do you want to do this? If you can animate those types of things, it's going to keep people's attention a little longer and hopefully they'll keep watching. But it's a great use of that. Animate your video sales letters and you can have something pretty cool. Now, the other thing I talked about was end screens. So you can animate the end of your video. And I do this all the time in a variety of different ways. So when you get to the end of a video that's being made for YouTube, you can have an end screen inside of YouTube. And the end screen will actually put other videos on the screen for you. But what you can do is you can build an animated sequence at the end that just leaves the space for those videos to pop in there. And we use that all the time. Animate the text in there, be sure to check out our other videos or what have you. And you can have a link back to your website and some links to videos that people can watch. And that whole background can be animated the entire time. So that can give you another professional look to something that can actually help you out because people are going to be clicking on those. And you can get as creative as you want with this. I used to put bloopers. Now, I don't, you may think, well, wait a minute, how is bloopers animation? Well, remember, we said this is animation and motion graphics. And so what we would do is we would make an animated background, so just a background that does something, and then we would have, the links, because it's an end screen with links to other videos, and then I would have a window that animates onto the corner of the screen that has our bloopers in them. And that still is animation. That's a different type. It's motion graphics, but basically the same type of idea, just done in a slightly different way. And motion graphics can be all sorts of things, by the way, in your video, picture in picture. Technically speaking, what we have going on right now, if you're watching on Facebook, Steve's in one window, I'm in another window. We have an animated background behind us. We got a logo on here. We've got the date and time. And then we've got, at the bottom, we've got a scrolling template that goes by that gives the news. All of that is motion graphics. It's animation, different kind of animation, but it's still an animation. Lots of things you can do with that. And again, they help to make your videos look more professional and help to provide information. When we do local business videos, usually we'll have their website and their logo or their phone number that'll animate onto the screen at the bottom and be on there for the entire time so that people at any point in time can click and call, or they can call us on the phone or visit the website, whatever they want to do, and it's in that video at the bottom. Boom. And again, that protects the video, but it provides animated motion graphics, adds action to it. At the end, we put that end screen. It's animated. We put the lower third when somebody's talking. That's animated. All of these things can be done very easily these days and are great embellishments that add to it. Now, speaking of embellishments, another thing that is becoming very popular these days are little animated embellishments that people can add to a video. And I'm talking about, maybe they've got a button that pops up that says subscribe, whoop, subscribe, and has the little bell and the little, subscribe button. Maybe a Facebook like where, the thumb comes in and it looks like somebody's clicking on it. You can do all of those types of things. And then there's like the little embellishments like, splashes of water. And so when you do something on the screen, you can just have this little splash or maybe fireworks or whatever. And that's become very popular these days, especially when you get into some of the text videos, the animated text, kinetic text. People will do that. The words will fly into the screen and then boom, and there'll be like an explosion and they go away. So those types of embellishments can also add in there, and that's motion graphics as well. And then there's other types of things. You've got maps you could put onto a screen. You can do all sorts of fun stuff. And at the end, you can put their name and phone number again, their address. One of the clients that we have, at the end of all his videos, we animate his logo in there, and it's got a map that comes on the screen showing his location, and then it animates the information about, how to reach them. So all of that is motion graphics and animation. Again, makes your videos a little bit better, a little more professional. Most of this can be done inside your video editor. So if you're looking to just have, text fade in, you can do that inside your video editor. No matter which one you have, they're going to be able to do that kind of stuff. You want to go a step further, you might need to use a third-party software. I use Final Cut Pro. I've got all sorts of plugins to do all sorts of animated doodads and lower thirds and end screens and things like that. And so I can just jump in, grab one, and throw it in there and be done with it very, very quickly. Doesn't take a lot of work to do that. It's template-based, but it's very easy and allows you to take control. Now, again, Create Studio we talked about will do that kind of stuff and actually gives you more control than something like Final Cut or Premiere usually does with those templates. You actually can control everything a little more precisely inside there because, again, it's more like After Effects. Now, a couple other things to mention with this. There are other ways to get animation. Everybody, I bring up animated videos. Everybody brings it up. Animoto, okay? It'll make you animated videos. They won't look very good, and I'm not a big fan, but you can do it there. So that's one place you can go, and you can create an animated video quickly and easily. Most of the time, it's just going to be a background with some text on it, and it just looks ridiculous, and I don't know why anybody would watch it. But some people like those things. What can I tell you, right? Not much we can do with that. But it does do that for you. So it is an opportunity.
They suck.
That's not very nice.
They suck. I don't like them. But anyhow.
Not a fan. I agree. But, these days, it's getting easier and easier to be able to add animation to your stuff. We started in the old days with images, and then it got easier to do JPEGs, and then it got easier to record sound and edit sound, and then it got easier to do videos, and now it's getting to the point where it's very easy to do animation. And we've had a lot of programs that have done animation in the last little while. There was another great one called VidTune that we were looking at a few weeks ago. And I believe you can still get your hands on that at raythevideoguy.com/vidtune. Now, that one was much more about animated characters. So it did a great job of creating these 2D characters and giving them different things that they could do. So you would just choose it from a list, similar to the way that Create Studio does. You'd choose it from a list, and then they would do it. So they had a ninja was one of the characters. So the ninja could run into the screen, and he could throw kicks and punches and then run off the screen. And, you could control how he did that, where he did that. And it was just a very good software, something that you wouldn't have seen just a couple of years ago. You would have seen inside a lot of the video editing programs some of the animated text things in lower thirds, but even those have gotten a lot better. And by the way, if you're somebody who uses After Effects or Final Cut Pro or Apple Motion or Adobe Premiere, one of our companies that we talk about all the time is Envato Elements, and they actually have not only animations that you can purchase, so you could literally purchase maybe an animated button that says, buy now, and put that in there. So you would just download it, bring it into your project, and throw it up there. You could do that with Elements, but also in there, they have templates, lots and lots of templates, animated logo templates, templates for lower thirds, templates for, different types of intros and outros. And they will have those templates in different formats. So the most popular is still being After Effects. So if you use Adobe After Effects, you could buy one of those templates, go in and just modify what you needed, export it out, and you're good. That's how we do most of the animated logos that we do for people is we grab one of those templates, bring it into After Effects, change the logo, change the text, export it out as a really, really nice Hollywood-style animated logo. You can get plugins, though, there as well. So, for instance, in my Final Cut Pro program, because I have elements, I've just got tons and tons and tons of animated elements and templates and backdrops and end screens that I can pull from anytime. I just go in, grab it, drop it in, make the changes to colors and text or whatever, add a different logo, and I've got a nice end screen. So if you want to be able to download a bunch of stuff that you can use, highly recommend you check that out. And again, that is at raiselinks.com/elements. You'll be able to buy for an entire year and download as many as you want. I've grabbed hundreds of templates, hundreds of plugins for Final Cut Pro simply because I belong to that, and why not? And I've used a lot of them too. There's a lot of really cool ones where, for instance, I was working on a client that, we wanted to add something to the screen that had text on it or whatever, and I just grabbed one of those animations and it draws a little box on the screen for you automatically, puts in whatever text you said, and boom, you got a beautiful video very, very quickly. So you can do that simply by grabbing one of those templates. And that's not the only company that does it, but when you can pay one price and get as many as you want, that's a pretty good deal. So that's at raiselinks.com/elements. So just a few ways.
Good stuff. That there was a term you used I haven't heard in 30 plus years, and that's motion graphics.
Yep.
My first job out of college was with a art studio / printing company, the small printing company, and they did slides back in the days before computers and PowerPoint and everything. They did optical slides. They had these big Marin Carrolls with cameras on them and a base where they put their artwork, and the artist did the artwork on ruby lith and stuff, and they would shoot these slides. And so they got a chance to buy a motion graphics camera, cheap, 16 millimeter, and you'd basically do the same thing and then program all the movements into it. So you go walking by it and here it'd be going, and what it'd create is these logos with a fire trailing behind it or something. They weren't, I mean, for 1983, everybody thought it was really cool. The guy that ran that is now an editor for Disney. And he's done like Frozen. He was the editor on Frozen and stuff like that. So, so that kind of took me back. That was a trip down memory lane.
We used to do the same thing. We would literally have, you remember in school when they used to have the little, I forget what they called them. It was the little overhead projectors.
Oh, I know.
And you
put
the little plastic slide, the little cellophane.
There's an overhead projector. There's an overhead projector. I think that's what we called them.
We used to have something similar to that, but it was you put a real camera on it, and it had the lights on the side that would shoot down, and you would put pictures on there, and you could record. And what you would do is you'd have the camera literally move across the image to make that Ken Burns effect, which, by the way, we were doing that long before Ken Burns ever got credited with that with his baseball thing. So it's not your name, Ken. Take that.
Well, he popularized it.
Yeah, we used to do that all the time for all sorts of things. Wedding videos we used to do it for all the time and everything. And that's how we would capture the images. And then later on, of course, you'd bring it into the computer and then move the image around. In fact, I remember we actually had this thing that was hooked up where we were using the old video toaster. And we had the camera pointing down at the pictures that were there, and we actually had a foot pedal. And so we'd put a picture in there, stomp on the foot pedal to take an image of that, a screen capture, and put the next one in, still store. Next one in, still store. Next one in, still store. And we'd do that with a foot pedal, almost like a guitar pedal.
Wow, cool.
So those were the days.
Those were the days. Yeah.
Those were the good old days.
You could sing the Mary Hopkins song. Those were the days, my friend. She was a friend of the Beatles. You're looking like you have no idea what I'm talking about.
I have no clue who that is.
I'm showing my age. Yeah, those were the days, my friend. We thought it'd never end. Yeah.
But yeah, that was how we used to do it. We used to grab it that way. Nowadays, you took your picture on your phones, you just transfer it over, and you just do it right in there. Because that's another type of motion graphics that's very, very useful is that Ken Burns effect. You take an image, bring it in, and just have that image kind of move across the screen slowly. That's motion graphics. That's animation, It doesn't have to be Bugs Bunny Doesn't have to be, Walt Disney animation. It can be text flying onto a screen, text drawing on a screen, an image sliding across the screen, an animated background. We love to use animated backgrounds in all sorts of stuff. I mean, think about this. If you had to do a video where it's just text on the screen, if you just had a nice animated, colorful background, even if you just had plain text on there, it just brings it out and makes it look like so much more. And it's a very simple form of animation, and we love that kind of thing. So
good show.
It's good stuff. Yeah. So get out there and do some animation, man. Do it.
But this Create Studio sounds like a pretty cool thing for creating.
It's incredible. It's like I said, I've been using After Effects for 20 years. I don't even know, 25 years, however long it's been. Been using After Effects for so long, it's hard to remember anymore. And this program here, don't get me wrong, it's not going to have all the super advanced graphic stuff that's in After Effects. After Effects has everything you could possibly imagine. But what this has is it has the ability to animate and do it without having to, take a 4-year course just to learn how to do it all. You want to have text fly in and fly out, it's just the touch of a button. You just choose how you want it to fly in and fly out, and it just does it. You want to have I'm trying to think of some other things. You want to have an animated character walk into the screen. You choose the character, choose your background, have him walk into the screen, and then you can choose to have him wave and whatever it is, and it's seamless. Now you got this 3D character. It looks like you made a Pixar video, and it's very, very easy to set up and do. You don't need to have any skills to really do this. And the great thing is, you can do all sorts of creation in there. You can create your own text on there, with gradients, shadows, have it fly in, have it move in. You can add logos and choose an in and an out so that the logo flies into the screen and then flies off the screen. It's just very, very easy to do. And that's why we like, that's why I like it so much, because it's very easy.
Well,
and it feels like a solid program.
And it sounds like it does most of what you need it to do for YouTube videos.
That's exactly it. It does everything that most people that are doing the type of work that we do would need. It doesn't. Yeah. It may. You may not be able to do advanced mathematical equations inside there to determine this type of animation. But who's doing that? Even in After Effects, hardly anybody's doing that unless they're creating something really, really high end. Millions of dollars to do some sort of to do Frozen or whatever. This is not, it doesn't have all of that stuff that you don't need. It just has the stuff that actual people would actually use, and you can get it very inexpensively, and you can put it together, and it's incredible.
How much?
It really is incredible.
How much dinero?
It's somewhere around like $30 maybe.
Wow.
No, it might be more than that. It might be more like $49 or something.
Wow, but still, okay. Yeah.
I can't remember.
$47.
Is it 47?
I don't know. It's always 7 in there, though, in affiliate products. So
yeah, it's somewhere around there. It's $40 to $60 somewhere in there, but well worth it. Yeah. After Effects is well worth it, but you're going to spend forever learning it, and you're going to be paying for that every month. Mm-hmm. So this, at least right now during the sale, you can grab it and use it without having to pay monthly fees, which is nice. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, it's a good show. I'm real interested in it. Yeah, you got to be tired. So, what are you going to shoot a commercial for it as Muscle Man or something?
That's it. That's why I'm dressed up as Muscle Man here. Yeah, we're going to have some fun with that. Hopefully, do something cool with the green screen. But I got to get pants first.
Maybe you could have Carrie bring you some gym shorts or something.
I know. Well, I don't have any that would. That would work with this. I need like blue or red or something, and I don't have that. So.
Well, when you go out to get them, change clothes.
I will. I'll put real pants on before I go.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
real pants.
The ones that I got, they're see-through tights. They're not. I thought they were like those solid legging type things, and they're not.
Yeah. Oh,
they're
those
more
things.
like pantyhose material.
More like panty. Okay. All right. Well, that's embarrassing.
Well, and the thing is the person in the picture, that's all they're wearing. Yeah. And you can't see through it on the picture, so I'm like, what the heck? Oh, what are you going to do?
Yeah, what do you do? I don't know.
Superheroes have to wear tights.
That's right. I'm not a superhero.
In any case, for those of you watching, listening to the podcast, I have no idea what we're talking about. But yeah, we're doing this live on Facebook, and I am wearing a muscle suit.
Oh, that's right. I got kicked. Yeah, we do have an audio podcast where we get a lot of listens. But
indeed.
No, I'm not I'm not a superhero. I'm Grandpa Steve-O, according to my grandkids. And I'm old because I have grandkids. All righty. Very good.
All right, folks.
The show, somebody made the show possible today.
Why, they sure did. And believe it or not, it's Create Studio. So if you're ready to start doing animation, Create Studio may be the perfect program for you because it's going to let you do all the cool animations you want for your videos without all the hassle and learning curves that come with Adobe After Effects or Apple Motion or some of these other big programs. You can create your animated text videos right in there and your VSLs. You can do animated characters. It's got templates built in for things like, what we call device videos. So if you wanted to, let's say you had a video you needed to make for a new app, it's got a template in there that's automatically going to bring in a phone, and you just put your video inside the phone, and it's going to show it off, and has the little Apple and the Play logos on there for the apps. You could do things inside of computers. You can do all sorts of fun stuff with the templates that are built in there, and they got 3D and 2D characters, so you just bring them in there, animate them, and you can have a lot of fun. You can also do things like your lower thirds. Bring in some video, put a lower third over it. It really is, Steve, the one thing I didn't mention with this is it's not meant to be a video editor. It's meant to be a motion graphics and animation tool. But for the most part, you can do your entire video production in there. With the instant spokesperson stuff, I showed people how to do it. You bring in your instant spokesperson video, add in your lower thirds with your logo, put your stuff at the end, and export it out, and you got a full video. So it's not just, it's meant for motion graphics, but you could do a lot of your basic editing in there too.
So you have green screen videos in instant spokesperson. It'll work. It
does green screen as well. Yes.
I'll be darned. Wow.
It does
for like
indeed.
$60 or so, $40 to $60. Jeez. Wow.
Yep. It's very good stuff.
Cool.
And like I said, it's made by a small developer, but it's one of the few programs made by these small guys that it feels like a multi-million-dollar program. It's solid. It works. It does what it's supposed to. There's not a lot of weird quirks to it and things like that, which, by the way, After Effects has a lot of weird quirks. So if they did have some, I wouldn't be too surprised. But really, there's not a lot of quirks to it or anything. In fact, I can't even really think of one. If I had to say one thing, which I already told them, and they may have already fixed it, the one thing I told them was hitting the space bar doesn't make the video play so you can watch it. You have to click the play button. Most programs use the space bar. So I said that to them. They may change that. Who knows? Yeah. And that's the great thing about these small developers. But other than that, I didn't really find any weird little quirks with it or anything. It worked very, very well. I was excited by it. So.
And where can you get it?
You can get it right now by heading over to raythevideoguy.com/create studio. Create studio. CREATESTUDIO. Create studio. So check it out.
All righty. Very good.
Yeah. And with that, I guess we're reaching the end here, so I'm going to get my finger over the... Oh, Steve, you know what we forgot to do? We forgot to name our band. We're going to name the band here, so we could throw it to through the band here.
You used a Monty Python name last week.
I did, yeah. Conrad Pooh and his dancing teeth.
Okay.
So
let's go with that for now.
All right. Well, let's do it here. All right. Let's pretend okay, so this is the end of the show, and we're going to throw it over to Conrad Pooh and his dancing teeth to bring us out of the show. Conrad, get over here. No, wait. Conrad, what are you doing? He is hanging from the rafters. Get off the rafters.
Upside
here he comes.
down.
All right. Okay, here he comes. He's down. He's got it. He's got his little ukulele now. All right, here he goes.
He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy.